I'm David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, a ministry that's focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, our series called Bible Treasures was created to help you learn about and memorize Scripture, so I'm really glad that you've chosen to join us. Now, today we're going to finish up memorizing John chapter 1, verse 14 from the NIV. So let's get started by reading John chapter 1, verse 14 together on the next slide. John chapter 1, verse 14. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. Today we're going to memorize the very last part of the verse, full of grace and truth. Do you know what grace is? Well, I hope that you do, because I know that there have been plenty of times that you have cried out to the Lord, "Oh God, give me grace." So many people cry out for God's grace and they don't even know what they're asking for. Well, in summary, God's grace is his favor, is unmerited favor. That means we don't deserve it, and we certainly can't earn it. And when God gives us his grace, he's not only given us his favor, but he is giving us his power that is revealed no matter how weak we are. Listen to what Jesus said to Paul. When Paul was in a desperate situation, Jesus said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." So Jesus himself was revealing to Paul that grace is revealed in our weakness, but in our weakness, grace reveals itself as power. And so what was Paul's response? He said, well, then if that's the case, then I just am glad about all my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. So when you're asking for God's grace, you're admitting that you are weak and you want God's power to begin to burst in on the scene and give you that which you need to go through the difficulties you're going through with his power and with his favor. But it teaches us more than that. Just think, Jesus came full of grace and truth. So all the grace that you need, God has put in Jesus, and he sent Jesus to make it available to all of us who will receive it. I know that there's been many times that you have cried out for grace. Now you know what you're asking for. You're asking for more of Jesus, who comes full of God's grace. And what about truth? The verse says that Jesus came full of grace and truth. Well, truth is that which is true. There's no lie in truth. It's factual. It is true. And it has the power to set people free. That's what Jesus said. He said, the truth will set you free. But did you know that truth is more than just a thought or an idea or a philosophical teaching? Jesus really summed it up best when he said, I am the way and the truth and the life. There you have it. Jesus himself is truth. So how did God reveal the truth to us? God the Father sent Jesus to us because Jesus himself is truth. And when Jesus came, he came, as the verse tells us, full of grace and truth. He's got all that we need, all the grace that we need, all the revelation of truth that we need. Jesus has it all. It's all in him. So turn to Jesus and learn from him, because he's got what you need. So before you go today, we're going to read this together, or hopefully you have memorized this verse. But as you quote it, I want you just to realize that all the grace, all the truth that you need is in the one that God has sent right to you. His name is Jesus. Let's quote it together. John chapter 1, verse 14. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth.